Okay. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year's. We are live from our casita on the mountain. And we are here tonight to answer some of your questions about health, fitness, nutrition, New Year's resolutions. We put out some Q&A earlier this week and we got some questions, so we're just coming on tonight to answer some of those questions.
What's up, Jahira? What's up, Jane? What's up,
and then
Erica?
For anybody who joins in,
What's up,
feel
Linda?
free to submit your questions. Hi guys, thanks for joining in.
Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and start this off, with all these questions that we received. So feel free while you're on there, go ahead and just submit questions, obviously as fitness related if you want, or something a little bit about what we do and who we are if you don't know us by now. But just wanted to connect with you guys and see what we could do to answer you in obviously quick type questions. So go ahead.
So one of the first questions we got when I put this up on Monday was about why do I eat so healthy during the week and then completely lose it on the weekends? And the simple answer to that is you're probably not eating enough during the week. A lot of people tend to try to eat perfect or really healthy during the week, and sometimes that involves restricting certain foods or eating a lot lower calorie. And then by the time the weekend comes, they're craving things that they've been thinking about all week, so they kind of go crazy and lose control around a certain food or cheat meals or a cheat day and go out and order all this food and eat all this food because they were like, oh, I'm so healthy all week and I deserve this because I was perfect all week. And then you kind of just keep going off track off of that. And a lot of people also do it because they think if they've messed up and had one bad meal or one bad day where they've eaten less healthy than they normally do, that they should just say, well, screw it. I'll just do it all weekend and start again on Monday. And it's kind of like a cycle that happens over and over again. Or the other part of it is that you save up everything for the weekend. You eat a lot less calorie during the week, eat really perfect during the week, and then on the weekend you're like, okay, I'm going to go out, have a few drinks, and that leads to a spiral of overeating, and then the next day you're hungover and you eat more, and it's just kind of a bad cycle. And it's really common. A lot of people do it, and most of our clients tell us that, Monday's always like a reset for them because they overindulged on the weekend. And the simplest answer I can give you to that is to make your Monday through Friday more balanced. Include foods that you consider bad or foods that you only eat on the weekends. Have those during the week. Just have them in smaller amounts. And this kind of teaches you that nothing is off limits if you can get yourself to a place where all food is okay as long as you do it in moderation and not change that thought pattern of this food is bad and this food is good, so I can only have this food today, and then on the weekends I can only have this food, but you overindulge in it because you've been restricting so much and you're craving it so much. Whereas if you just spread it out and have a little bit of what you want all the time, those cravings will go away. And if the cravings go away, the binging and the overeating and the doing all this and the starting over on Monday will start to go away. And that takes time. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to implement, but you have to learn to trust your body, trust your instincts when it comes to eating, and know that if you eat more balanced every day, it'll change your hormones. It'll change your cravings. You won't be as likely to overeat on the weekends if you give yourself more grace during the week.
I would say, I know a lot of the stuff that everybody always talks about, I think in general, is diet. What's up with all these diets and so forth. Unfortunately, diets are there for one reason. It's quick results. So what that means is, you're going to lose it fast and you're going to gain it fast. Pretty straightforward. I mean, the biggest thing is understanding it. Knowledge is important when it comes to eating. If you don't understand it, obviously researching it is the very best way. We're obviously asking us. So long story short, when it comes to diets in general, you just got to be very aware. Obviously, different diets are for different people in different settings. Sometimes when you do things, it's for a quick status. Whether it's something coming up, or like say wedding, or there's a summer's coming up in, or any of those specific things. That's the reason why your diets are there. But it's whether it's healthy or not, it's not healthy because it's a fast fix. Now you want to focus more on in general, trying to figure out exactly what is good for you, how you could obviously go about things.
I just want to comment on Erica. She said, I love eating on the weekends, with a little emoji. And that's good, but you should love eating it every day, not just on the weekends. You should be getting enough food in every day that you don't feel like, oh, yay, it's the weekend, I get to eat. You should be satisfied every day. You should be taking in enough nutrients every day that you don't have huge cravings on the weekends. If you are craving things by Friday, Saturday, that's normal, but if it's like you can't wait to just go and eat, that's a sign that you're not fueling your body with good nutrition during the week. So you kind of need to look at that and reevaluate that and go, why do I look forward to Saturday and Sunday because I can eat everything I want? You're not fulfilling your body during the week. If you give your body enough nutrition, cravings go away. It takes time, it takes practice. Erica and I are looking on here, but so it's a practice thing, and it's a learning what fuel is, what nutrition is, how to get balanced intake, and if you do that, you won't look at the weekends as your only opportunity to eat. Every day you should be loving what you eat and feel full and feel satisfied. So that's that, and one of the ways we can help you do that is through nutrition coaching and meal plans and figuring out your macronutrients and where you should be and how much you should be intaking to support your body's burn and fuel and everything else all day. And we can help you with that if you need. So send us a message.
Another one is supplements. One of those
Oh,
things.
yeah. One of the questions we got also was about supplements, and that came to you. So if you want to say what the question was. And
well, I think there's two parts to supplements, right? So obviously you have your organic supplements, and then you have your supplements that are obviously, like fat burners per se. So let's just kind of like put it in those two terms. And, obviously we don't preach anything when it comes to like fat burners or any of those type of supplements that help you lose weight, the unorganic way, if that's a word. But, we want to do things obviously more organically when it comes to losing weight. Doing it the right way. And when we ever add in, you always got to understand the word supplements, because supplements in general is supplemental to what you eat. So don't think about supplement as a meal or as anything that will replace a meal.
That means you can't have a protein bar and call it lunch. That's not lunch.
So
that's a snack. That's a supplement to your nutritional intake. If you're lacking some energy or something here and there, that's where you put that in. You don't take something out and put a supplement, shake, meal, replacer. If you're replacing meals, you're doing it wrong. Meals are there for a reason. You need to eat. So.
Yeah, and using that supplement. So again, there's two things, right? Fat burners, not the way to go. And then there's the protein supplement, such as protein shakes, protein bars. That's obviously the better way, the organic way. But if you could stick to real foods, the better. The real foods are really your case to actually helping you sustain, your energy, your caloric intake, and so forth. Okay, the other one is like, how do you eat, or what do you eat in general? So
for what we eat.
So as you know, Stephanie's vegan. So obviously her situation with vegan, and she'll go ahead and explain that very quick. This is kind of her way of saying, what she eats. So.
And I hate to use the word vegan. I like mostly plants, but if I feel like eating macaroni and cheese, I eat macaroni and cheese. So don't get it wrong. I'm not so strict that I rule out anything. I just prefer to fuel my body mostly with plants. But I've learned over the years that you can't be perfect at anything, and trying to be perfect and be vegan and be this, it's just exhausting, and it leads to cravings, and it leads to being unsatisfied with your intake. So my preference is plants. I love salads. I love huge salads that are the size of my body. I love vegetables. That's just what I crave because of how I was raised and what I've always eaten. So I tend to eat mostly that. But I also try to eat whatever I want whenever I want it. And because I've eaten healthy for so long, most of what I eat is healthy. But if I want to have, like I said, a glass of wine and macaroni and cheese and pizza, I do that. And I don't change anything about my day. I just go about eating how I normally would. And I think that's uh, probably the most healthy way to go about eating is to get your head around most of what your intake should be healthy. But when you want things that aren't healthy, have it and don't beat yourself up on it. Eating is so mental, and when people create that bad, good kind of thing with food, it just leads to destructive patterns. So
Okay,
that's
so
that.
before I get to my area, I want to reply to JD M. Thurman. How you doing? Are post-workout powders really beneficial? So there's a couple ways to answer that, right? Obviously, the type of workouts in general, obviously, all rely based upon like how much calories you burn. So are powders really beneficial? It is based upon the timing you do intake it, right? So I'll say number one, first, if you can eat, it's all within that first hour, because anytime you work out, you basically are in a deficit. So it's very important that you feel yourself within that hour, because that's where your body's striving to actually recover. So if you can't eat natural or organic or basically food, actual real food within that hour, you'll have to intake, obviously powders or actually protein powder within that hour to sustain you. Because remember, you're in a recovery stage. You don't want to get into ketosis where your body eats your muscle or starts taking calories from your muscles. So it's very important that if it's within that hour, you would say yes, workout powders, protein powders to be specific, post is in order within that hour to sustain you. Otherwise, if you can, eat real foods prior to that. Very good question, actually.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people think you have to chug a protein shake right after your workouts, but sometimes you do. If you're not going to be able to have a meal within the next few hours, the protein shake is great. But if you work out and you can go home and have lunch afterwards, have lunch. You don't need to chug a protein shake in the car and then have lunch. I mean, as long as you're getting in enough fuel throughout the day consistently, that's the most important thing.
So going back to back to I know Steph talked about plant based. Obviously, I'm not. But
Winnie's here.
sorry if you don't know who that is.
So Erica asked, like, what does it actually mean to eat plant based? And it's just as simple as most of the foods I eat are plants. A lot of vegetables, a lot of plant-based proteins like tofu, tempeh, lentils, beans. That's the majority of my intake. I don't eat meat. I'm not mad at people who eat meat, but I just choose not to because I don't like it. It doesn't work well with my digestion for being a runner for so long. I've just learned how to consume things that I can easily digest and use as fuel with not feeling heavy. So just a lot of plants, and plants can mean a lot of things. So it's not like just a salad every day. It's just a lot of vegetables, a lot of plant-based proteins and legumes and all that.
So talking about my eating, right? Because a lot of people are going to relate.
Opposite.
Everybody's going to relate to me in general when it comes to eating meat. So my whole biggest theory is obviously eating fish, as you know. I try to eat like 75 to 80% of fish throughout the year compared to heavy meats. And so the reason why I do that, because like you said, it's easy on the stomach and so forth when it comes to plants. But if you eat fish or anything light in general, when it comes to that type of meat, it's actually easier on our digestive system. You'll feel actually light. You'll feel never bloated. The problem is when you eat meats directly, when it comes to like steaks, even chicken or any of that, you're going to find yourself, always, bloated. You're going to find that position where, you don't feel light. You feel like either, sometimes you're working out and you're just, man, I feel like full, in the wrong ways of saying it. But you're going to be pretty much, those are two biggest reasons as to why, you'll feel light when you eat fish. You'll feel actually it's easy to digest versus actually hard meats. But again, you have to be very consistent. That's the biggest thing here. And anything red, as you know, is not really good for you, because in general, in constant, terms of eating it on a regular basis, is because it does really lead to a lot of, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and all that fun stuff. So Well, when I say fun stuff, meaning we
Bad
do it
stuff,
bad
not
stuff.
fun.
So,
Moving on to the next question that we received on our story was, if you stop working out, does muscle turn to fat? No. You are more likely to have a fat storage the less muscle you have. Muscle doesn't turn into fat. Muscle atrophies. If you are not
you lose it.
progressively
Basically.
overloading your muscle, it shrinks. It doesn't go away. Your biceps aren't going to just like fall off. It just shrinks.
Well, the
And what
theory
happens-
behind it, actually, let me tell you the theory behind it is if you don't work out or you don't load those muscles, you're going to actually like lose it. That's where you lose the tone, right? And then what happens is a lot of the fat and like everything else that you load into your body and carbs and all that crazy stuff, if you don't burn it off, it just stores itself. So people assume that you lost it. Not necessarily you lost it, you gain more weight by adding more of those unwanted things into your body.
When you stop working out, your muscles aren't being challenged, so they're not growing. So the muscle fiber shrinks, and if you continue eating the same way without exercising, your fat cells multiply and grow. So yes, you have more fat and you have less muscle. Muscle doesn't turn to fat, but the space that you lose when your muscle shrinks allows for more space for fat to grow. That's why it's just important to always work out and always challenge your muscles, because that's where the fuel you put into your body, that's where it goes. If you are eating a ton and not moving, it's not going to turn to muscle. It's going to be stored as fat. So simple as that.
Another question that was brought up was, I think in regards towards when it comes to like gaining weight, like why do you see people go through a yo-yo? Like, I mean, there's so many answers to actually, this could be a topic on its own as far as why people go through that phase of, they're on and then they're off, they're on and they're off. Number one is motivation. I mean, you need to be consistently motivated, and it always changes in general to how you could stay on track. That's the biggest thing. And number two is results, right? If you're not doing the right thing, in other words, if it's not the right workout, it's not the right eating in general, you're going to find yourself obviously in that roller coaster. So I'm going to leave that to another time where we could explain why people get into a yo-yo stance, but it's very, very obvious that there's so many, like, obviously, I would say loopholes
It
as far
happens
as
to everybody.
yeah.
So we can do a whole nother session on just yo-yo dieting, because I think that's a big problem for people. The next question I want to answer is, someone asked if it's good to have a day every week where you fast. No.
And the reason why is you already fast. Put it this way, you sleep, let's say you sleep at 10 o'clock, you wake up at 8 o'clock, you already fasted. So why prolong that? Your body in general is already at a deficit. So whenever you hear about a lot of these fastings and when you should fast and so forth, and is it before or after certain things, you already fast. Unless you're up 24 hours, I don't understand why you need to fast. I mean, you're just basically, destroying your body. So do you fast already? You already do. Do not add on to it.
You don't need to add extra fasting
and
time.
you don't have to do any of that.
Your body isn't meant to be starved. If you don't eat for a day, the next day you're going to wake up and feel skinny because your body is dehydrated and depleted, but you didn't lose any weight.
And I don't know
and it's only setting you up to eat more later on in the week because you're so hungry from your day of fasting. So there's just no point.
I think Jahaira has this thing called hangry or hungry or hangry or I don't know, like whatever. I mean, when you all get hangry or hungry
It means
or
you're not eating enough.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
If you get hangry, you're not eating enough consistently. So eat more consistently.
So feel free to ask questions if you want to, even some random stuff. If you want to throw it out on there,
we'll stay on about 5 more minutes and take any more questions, and I'll go through the couple more that
how about juicing
here.
So Jahaira asked, what about juicing? So
the juicing.
Well, again, it is a type of diet, right? So why people juice is because the fact they overloaded themselves over the holidays. Obviously, they try to, you eat all these crazy stuff.
Or leading up to something. I think a lot of people think like they have a girls' trip ahead and I'm going to juice the whole week before it so I can feel comfortable in my bikini.
And the biggest reason why people juice is because they want to feel light. They want to lose. So the biggest thing you lose, and yes, when you juice, you lose a lot in that first week or two, and it's because it's water weight. You know, it's like you're trying to lose the water weight in you, so that's why you're gonna remove all the heavy evidence, meats and everything heavy, and you're gonna juice so your body will pee it out. The fastest way to excrete things is to pee it out. So what you're doing is trying to remove through juicing, you know, a lot of your water weight. And so is juicing good? It's okay just to cleanse yourself, but not necessarily healthy if you consistently do it, right? So it's fine, but that's why juicing is there. So there's a reason why juicing there. That's why people go to like a week away in, I don't know if it's ashrams or different like, you know, retreat getaways, and all they do is juicing, and it's all it is just to flush you out. It really is the only way.
And it's effective. You'll feel lighter after a week of just consuming juice. I mean, think about it. Your body expands when you put food in your stomach. It's food. It's in there until you digest it. So if you're not filling yourself with food and you're only drinking in a liquid, you're going to feel lighter. But the long-term effects of it are more detrimental, and then it's a very slippery slope to get into a cycle of thinking the only way I can feel light and the only way I feel good and the only way I can lose weight is if I go to do a juice. And that's just creating a terrible pattern and a terrible relationship with food. So there's nothing wrong with juicing in a normal dietary intake. You know, having green juices and celery juice and this and that, they have all kinds of benefits, but it's not a replacement for eating.
So is a week recommended? Jahaira asked about juicing.
No!
You know,
Jahaira, no!
it's a bit too long, right? I mean, but that's technically kind of like what a lot of these weekend or week getaways
like the kits
are.
you get or the places you can go. They'll say for 7 days you buy this and juice for a week, and you're going to do all these wonderful things for your body and your health. And if you eat healthy, you will do the same things without having to feel miserable for 7 days. Look, if you feel like crap, you're not eating the right way. And it's just a matter of fixing what you're eating, getting more healthy, nutrient-dense food in there. You don't need to be doing just juicing to feel good. You should feel good all the time because you're supported with your nutrition.
Where I would come with the juicing, Jahaira, is actually utilize that as a vitamin supplement. It's actually one of your best ways to intake vitamin. I'd rather you juice than take vitamins per se when it comes to that. So while you're, you know, throughout your weekly, you know, meals and so forth, is to, you know, how sometimes you always see people go in and get wheatgrass, or they would get random juices from different stores. Be careful about that too, because there's so much sugar in there. But if you create your own juicing in general, it's good to add that as a vitamin, because that is technically your emergency from getting sick or any of that stuff.
Yeah, juicing has a lot of benefits if done the right way. I mean, you're getting a lot of nutrients, micronutrients into your body quickly, and it can help with bloating if you have digestive issues. It can all help, but it's definitely not a supplement for meals. You know, you got to eat, girl.
So people are saying, another question that I thought was pretty interesting, it's kind of like standard, is should I work out or should I, you know, focus more on nutrition? You know, obviously it's a balance. You know, working out and nutrition leads to faster results. If you do one or the other, it's obviously going to be slower than the other. But overall, balance is the best way to go about it. You can't overload one and not do the other. So it's a fine line between both of them, as long as it's done correctly, right? So a lot of people would try to like lose the weight first by eating right, and then, or they would work out a lot more by not eating right. So I would say consistent, being balanced on both, understand both, and how to go about it both will lead to better results.
We'll do. Erica asked plant-based questions. Are plant-based meats good on the daily basis, like pre-made patties? It depends on the brand and what it is. Hi, Tara.
Tara, you're late.
As far as doing like the, you know, you'll see like Dr. Prager's black bean and all the different plant-based meats and stuff like that. And I think there are some that are really good. But you really got to do your research. You've got to look at the labels, see what the nutrition information is, see what the ingredients are. And if that list starts getting really long and you start to see words you don't recognize, honestly, you're better off making your own. You know, there's like, you can go and buy a black bean burger in the frozen section. Hi, Bee!
Sorry.
So you can go and buy like a frozen black bean burger in the frozen section of a supermarket. And there's some that are good. There's some with 4 or 5 ingredients. And if you read that nutrition label and see those ingredients and know what those things are, fine. It's a good thing to add into your diet. If you see a list this long and you're like, I don't even know what those words are, you're probably better off making it on your own. Honestly, with so many of the vegan meats, you're better off doing it on your own. You know, you can eat straight up tofu. You can eat straight up tempeh, and that's pretty basic, and that's something you can buy in a package, but it's still healthy. But when it comes to all this other stuff, fake stuff, you just really have to look and see what's into it. And if you like a meat supplement, it is very easy to use beans, use tofu, to use tempeh, chickpea flour, you know, almond flour, and start to learn how to make those things on your own. And that way you can pack it in with a ton of more nutrition than you would if you buy it at a store, because a lot of that has been condensed and it's not a lot of vegetables in it, and you could do it on your own simply and make it a lot healthier. So
and just remember,
you know what you're looking at, know what you're eating.
And just remember, when it comes to like a lot of the fake meat stuff, so at the end of the day, you know, you still got to understand the calories and the protein. Well, like, what are you looking for in that type of thing? Is it just to specifically like replace a true meat with a fake meat? At the end of the day, you're looking to see what's more consistent as far as what you're looking for in your nutrition. Are you trying to add, you know, you're trying to be more organic in the plant base and want to add more protein, then you're going to go for that. So it's definitely it's now more available than you ever used to be. And you know, there's stuff like actually like hot dogs that are vegan, and there's so many like turkey that's tofurkey and all like made out of tofu. So,
and I would say with that stuff, like especially like the fake sausages and the fake, you know, hot dogs, just be careful with that. It's a great way, if you're trying to get more plant-based, it's a great way to help you transition. And don't look at it as something that you have to have as a daily staple. You know, if you want it on the weekends, if you want a burger and you want fake meat, fine, go get that and do it that way. But don't count on that to be a staple in your daily intake. If you're wanting to be more plant-based, choose real plants. Choose beans, choose lentils, choose quinoa, choose, you know, tofu, tempeh. You can include those in your daily intake, and then the frozen fake fun stuff can be just, you know, here and there when you're feeling like you want something a little more indulgent, and it's fine to include that in there a couple days a week, but don't make that the staple of your intake.
Okay, another question was, I think one of the ones I'm going to answer is, so weight training in general, right? So when it comes to like working out, like, you know, what type of workout leads the best results? It's not necessarily what type of workout, because there's so many types of workouts in general, but I would say something within regulation. Again, obviously per your injuries, per all your health situation, is literally pay attention to, you know, what your goals are. That's number one, is what are your goals are. If it's to lose weight, obviously we got to increase the intensity, right? If we're looking to build or to really like put on muscle, then you got to obviously build more on strength. So it's very important to pay attention to like what your goals are first, and that will actually aid in your workout. So people a lot are more weight loss. So obviously high intense interval training, you know, is one way. Obviously high intense cardio with specific circuit training is one way to do it. Our boot camp classes, like most of you have been through, is great too. So anything that has, basically, I always tell people, get your whole entire body moving, you know, not just upper, not just lower, your whole entire body. You know, it will help and yield towards a great performance. So will increase your calorie burning.
And I think that's good, because we'll do one more question that we got submitted, and then if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and type them in and we'll wrap this up. But Natalie had asked what's the best total body movement if you only have 30 minutes or less? And I think that's
Burpees.
a great question, because you want to do a few movements that incorporate your total body and that get your heart rate up. You do not have to do 30 different exercises to get a great workout. You can pick 5 movements, squat jumps, push-ups, burpees, you know, things that really challenge you, and just repeat them a few times. And that's very effective. You do not have to do any crazy things. You do not have to have any crazy equipment. If that's what you have available to you, you just have to know that you got to challenge yourself a little bit, okay? So you can't just do a few push-ups and then rest for 2 or 3 minutes. You have to really say, if I've got 30 minutes, I'm going to really kick butt for 30 minutes. Burpees are not awful. Burpees have a place in the world.
Speaking of, so let's go towards like the cardio, because one person actually asked, how about cardio? Could I just do cardio 30 minutes? Yes, you can, but if you're just running for 30 minutes, like steady, you know, your caloric burning, okay, your counter is just going to slowly burn, right? So it's very
Nobody
important.
likes burpees on here. What the heck?
Right? So basically, let's say if you're running, right, for 30 minutes, feel free to throw in random sprints, even if it's for like, 15, 20 yards, vary it up. Don't just fall into that cardio space, even whether you're on an elliptical or anything and you're just going 30 minutes at the same level. Very important to actually add increased intensities, whether it's a sprint, whether it's increase the intensity for a couple of or let's say 10, 15 seconds, and then
definitely know that you have to be challenging yourself. Like if you're just running comfortably for 30 minutes every day, at some point your body's going to adapt to that very well and you're not going to get the same benefit. So you need to do things to add extra intensity to make it harder for you. And really, like that's the whole point of the app that we're talking about, is that that's the kind of created workouts that we create. We take the things that basically anybody can do with no equipment, and we show you how to make it harder, how to make it more intense, how to get the most impact out of it. So you guys, if you have questions, if you're doing that and you're stuck in that kind of rut where you're just like, okay, I'm just running for 30 minutes a day and it's not working, send us a message. We'll send you, we'll set you up with a free trial. We'll show you how we can help you. And
Brian, I hope you're doing your burpees right now. You set yourself up.
I want a video, and I want you to tag us and put it on your story. I want proof. I don't believe it. I believe you and Eric, Tara are drinking wine instead.
Well, guys, I appreciate it. Obviously, it's one of the things we're going to start this year. This year is going to be good. It's going to be awesome. Fitness has a lot in store for everything. I know he's lying. I mean, come on. But Brian, really? Come on. No, just kidding. Anyhow, but so, look forward. There's a lot of amazing things that are going to be happening. Obviously, there's a lot of fun stuff that's going to come out, and it's going to surprise you. So we're really going to come out with something major, big. We hope that everything will come out as perfect as we want it to. So obviously we appreciate you for your support, and please continue
thank you guys, and thanks for tuning in. It was so great to see everyone's name and talk to you on here, and thank you for submitting questions. We're going to do this every couple weeks so we can try to get as much information out there and answer your questions, and I'll always put stuff on our Instagram stories and posts, so just keep looking back there, and thank you for your continued support. We appreciate you guys so much.
Right before we go, we're going to do a quick workout one of these times, and guess what, Brian, we're going to do burpees too. So we got to make sure everybody's on par with this.
And tomorrow we're actually going to be posting a outdoor Saturday workout. We'll put it on the page and put in the story, so check back tomorrow if you guys need a workout. We'll be posting one tomorrow, so thank you, everyone. It was
Take
so
care,
great
guys.
to see you.
See you
Happy
later.
Friday.
Bye-bye.